Hi there, this is Jeff Fletcher with my 6th Zendikar Draft. What's this? Forsaken Monument. It's pretty nutty if you've got colours creatures, but there's fuck all of them in the draft, so this is not going to be a good card. Deadly Alliance is just generically good. Um, this card's pretty nice. Veteran Adventurer is good. I think I'm just going to take Deadly Alliance. It's a very potent card. What are the ticks for it? Does that mean I've just got 4 of it already? Um, I've got this the overlay, the untapped overlay. It's very good, to be honest. I quite like the Jerboa. I haven't really had a chance to use it yet, but the Deadly Alliance simply seems the best card. I would say by now that I don't think this is a very good pack, since it's rares and uncommons. The Veteran Adventurer is a nice one, but I actually don't rate it that hard. What is this? Another artifact. Indestructible, kicker 3. When it enters the battlefield, it's kicked. Create 2 tap tokens that are copies of the relic. Okay, and it makes mana of any color. Okay, it's kind of interesting. So it's one of the only mana fix available whatsoever in this format, which is potentially a big deal. Do I want a mana fix and accelerate on 3 in this format? Don't really know. It seems okay. Tangled Florahedron's pretty good though. As is, I mean, Expedition Skulker is good, and it would cut black essentially, or at least put people out of black maybe. How good is a Skyclave Relic? I mean, it's nice that it's indestructible. I'm pretty sure you almost never kick it, but maybe there's a world where that happens sometimes. Probably not. I'm gonna save over the Skulker. It's possible to argue that the Florahedron's better, but I kind of like staying in one color. Alright, so black card, tap another rogue you control. Gains Death Sessions on turn, alright. Okay, this is an interesting little card. It wants you to have lots of rogues, as does my Expedition Sculptor, so that could make them a natural fit. This card's interesting. I think this card's quite good. The Chilling Trap is solid. Expedition Diviner's actively pretty good. Stinger good. I mean, if I get a lot of rogues, it's good. I quite like the Mucklord. Honestly, the Mucklord's probably a little better, other than the fact I do want rogues. Do we want to play into this? Fuck it. Let's play into it and say, alright, to rogues. Let's go rogue. So Shadowcat's okay. Prowling Falador is actively pretty good. I think black-white could be good, so white's not a colour with a lot of rogues though, but I'm not sure how much I want to commit to this rogue sub-theme. The Shadowcat's decent. The Horn Beetle is an interesting card. I think it's got good potential. But you need to be very much in the theme. I'm going to just take the Falador. I think it is the stronger card of the ones available here. So, another rogue. That could be good. The Malakar Rebirth, I think, is a fine card. I mean, I think, yeah, like, Turn Timber Aesthetic's probably the best card in this pack. Well, let's say yes to rogues, because once you get enough, the Skulkers and everything get a lot better. So I want to make these picks as good as I can. I quite like this card. I think it's very solid. This card's pretty medium. Some okay red cards. A really mediocre black card. I think I'm going to hedge here. I'm actively not a fan of Cabera Outrider the more I've seen of it. It falls into the trap that, well, not trap, but just general, I think, acceptance at the moment. The 3/3s that cost 4 are no longer really good. And to show that up, there's a generic 3/3 that is a warrior in green for 3, and there's multiple creatures that contest it from the 2 slot along, because your 3/1s in white will kill it. Roiling Regrowth's a very good card here. The Dreadworm's pretty good. I'm going to cut the Dreadworm just because we don't have another colour for sure yet. This is a good attacking board piece. I think it's it's pretty hard to stop if you landfalled, and they're generally going to have to feed something to it or take 5 damage every time you drop a land after it, which means that it's, I think, equivalent. Like if you imagine this had flying, that's my feeling on roughly where it's at. If you printed it with flying and it's a 5/4 flyer for 5, that's roughly how it feels in the game. It's pretty hard for them to deal with. I like Seagate Banneret quite a bit. I think Oblivion Sunger is fine. I think Tajaru Blightblade's actively pretty good. It is a rogue as well, and it goes. I'm going to have so much rogue death touch. Maybe that's, I don't know. I'm not sure about this Banneret. I mean, it can be good in the late, but let's take this and maybe go green because we don't only see the one white card. Ox is fine. Oh, actually, Mucklord tabled, so definitely Mucklord. Just because it stops me having to make that decision. Random Vampire Cleric. I kind of wanted to bet blue and black to get rogues and maybe use the fact that this can deck a bit, but it just didn't seem to be coming up. All these cards are basically trash. I'll take the negate just in case that's a thing, but I don't think it will be. This card's fine with Blood Price, as is the Seagate Banneret. Yeah, I think my deck, from what I've learned, like this feels like a format where you do have time, in many cases, to stop and cast a wow, that's really late, a card advantage card, and Turn Timber Ascetic coming back when I thought it was the best card in the pack may be a sign that green is open. I feel like white is not open, so I'm going to put that to the side. I got 2 good cards there as well versus the 1 good card in white, and that will definitely activate this card as well. So that's like 3 versus 1. Now that said, immediately is a really powerful blue-black rare. Maybe worth ditching everything else for. It is a rogue. Return an unblocked attacking rogue. You flip it out. And you can reanimate cards from their graveyard. It's just bananas. Like I'm really surprised. Well, not surprised, but it is a bit nuts that this is in standard. I think it'll be very good. I think it's just pretty impressive. It's a pretty nuts card. In draft, this card is bananas. Like, it hits once, you reanimate the biggest thing in their graveyard, whatever that is, and you're immediately super far ahead. And then it's threatening to hit again next turn, especially if you can give it some evasion. I'm not sure how easy it is to do that in this format. It's a nice dual land. There is a decent other rogue that's going to play with the rogue strategy that we're kind of looking into at the moment. Constrictor, Mucklord are both good. Vanquish the Weak is good. So now I've got a little pick off, I think, here between the Sure-Footed Infiltrator, which is a good card, and we have plenty of rogues to activate, and the Vanquish the Weak. Like, I'm not 100% in blue yet, and I could maybe even splash this in my black-green deck, but I'm pretty persuaded into blue by what's happening. But I think Vanquish maybe is even a little stronger anyway. The Sure-Footed Infiltrator is an interesting one. But I actually don't have a removal spell as well yet. Oh, I have Deadly Alliance, but you can never have too many good removal spells. I think it's pretty solid. Base Camp. Okay, so Base Camp might help if I did splash the Zareth. Doesn't help with the ability. This card also has Flash. Like, oh yeah, I guess it needs it, so it doesn't also have it. It does need it for the way that it works, but still. Sack a creature, draw a card. Okay, interesting. Expedition Dive's not bad. Living Tempest is actively reasonable. I think this is a little better. Do I want Base Camp? It's an interesting one. Let's say yes. I'm gonna say yes to Base Camp. I think that's interesting. I actually just noticed that my Ascetic is a cleric, and my Blightblade is a rogue, and Vassal Fortification could be a land, so I could play all my current cards in a build like this, so we'll see if that's what I want to do. I really like Spell Shield. The more I've seen of it, the better I like it. I found it to be pretty good. Skyclave Plunder. This is some really solid card advantage. Spell Shield's probably. Now let's take that. I think it is a very solid piece of card advantage. Okay, wow, this card's really quite good. I was saying I think Chilling Trap's pretty good. Scale the Heights is also pretty good. We don't show that much sign of being a blue deck yet, so let's take the Scale the Heights, as I don't think I want another Blood Price anymore. Oh wow, Cascades here. So it's a wizard. There's not a lot else good to say about this card. I have quite a lot of 5-drops already, so I am less excited by the Dreadworm, although I do believe it to be a fairly good 5-drop. I'm not very excited by it right now. And I don't have 4-drops, so I'll just take the black card and put it over here, I suppose. I want to try and signal that I'm the black drafter. Keep away from me. I am drafting black. I like spare supplies a fair bit. I also like subtle strike. Yeah, let's just take the subtle strike, and I think it's good when you obviously have death touches plus against other death touches. It's quite good. What is this? Sea floor stalker's rope. Yeah, this is actively pretty good. Thing with this is once you have like ideally 3 creatures, but even if you have 2 creatures in your party, this becomes a pretty playable ability. You can hit for 3 unblockable, but if you actually get this down to 2, you can really start to go to town on their life total without much counterplay. So I think it's actively fairly strong. I hate utility knife; it's pretty shitty, but I do like a spare supply, so we'll grab those. I'm not sure exactly where we're going to fall on the green blue spectrum yet, so I'm just leaving all the cards hanging out in my deck. Um, it's still quite possible that we could just play only Zareth as a blue card. That's certainly on. I'm going to kind of let myself get guided by my rare, probably in the final pack, and just a few back end picks here. And unfortunately, well, this spell's actually pretty good, and I've never seen it get played before. Um, Surprised. Wow, when I wanted a core celebrant, they never come late like that. I suppose another blue blood price in case I don't want to play Skyclave Plunder and I want that effect. Wow, this rare is now my most commonly opened rare in draft. It is trash, unfortunately. Well, no, it's not. It's not trash. It's just very, very hard to play. You have to be exactly green and white on this card. It's pretty much bad. It's annoying. Here's a rogue. Here's another rogue. Rapid Bite is probably pretty good with my collection of death touching rogues. Might push me in that direction. Yeah, let's see if I can keep this rogue in. There's another Seafloor Stalker, which is a rogue as well. But the Rapid Bite's more powerful than the other cards by a fair bit, especially if I have a lot of death touches in my deck. No black card really, yeah, sure. Highboard Scavenger. Tashru Blightblade. Did I put one of those in my board? No, it seems like I didn't. It's probably the best card, and it is a rogue. And the reason a blue pick. God, this pack is like, you'd love to open this in sealed, wouldn't you, maybe? I don't know. But it's just all 2 colours, so insane. Green White really does have some powerful cards. Like Marassa Root Grazer is great. I had a deck with 3 of them, it's pretty sick. It didn't actually end up doing well, but I still thought it was pretty sick. Hmm. So, Gnarlid Colony, Florahedron, it's also decent. I felt like I had a number of more expensive drops, but times they are changing. Maybe the colony's just better. Feed the Swarm is also a decent option that I quite like. It generally earns its slot, but let's take the colony. That bleating noise is freaking hilarious. Okay. Barligate Recovery, I think that's pretty solid. Scale the Heights. also solid. Yeah, what I'm sensing from this, I'm seeing like absolutely fuck all real blue cards knocking around. So I'm definitely thinking, let's just try and splash the Zareth. It's slightly awkward at the moment. If I could get a tiny bit of help, I mean, I got kind of 1-3 on it, and then I have to wait and see. Let's take the Scale of Heights. The nice thing about this is I thought you had to pay one and tap it to add one of any color for the card, but it's not. It's a straight up add one of any color for the card. Now I'm really wishing I took the Casmon of any color because he's a vampire rogue. I mean, I wouldn't take it, but there's absolutely fuck all else in the pack that I care about, so let's get it. I mean, Utility Knife's pretty crappy, but could play out okay. Ghastly Gloomhunt might be where I'm at. I feel like this draft has come to a really underwhelming place. It's mainly just like I feel like it's not hit the payoffs really here a lot. I mean, it's gonna be fine, I guess, but I'm just underwhelmed by basically a lot of what's happened in the back end. Another Dreadworm, I really don't need it. I mean, I could. And a rogue, so we're gonna grab the rogue. I mean, these now will always certainly death touch, so that's something. Yeah, this is just a load of crap. Ooh, Hagro restricted. Do we want this? Maybe, yeah. I think it could be solid. Yeah, it's probably better because Andu Stomp. We don't really have a landfall theme. Other than just randomly hitting some land for Dreadworms. Alright, well, this mana base could definitely go fuck off. That's not what we want to do at all. Flying Death to Haste. So we could cast this off this. It's really awkward to not have like any kind of land search card in the set. That feels a bit rough. Kind of want 2 drops because we'll likely be able to scale the heights on one of them. I don't know if we want both Zagras and Zareth, although the cards are both good. Um, is Dreadworm just better than Turn Timber Ascetic or vice versa? I'm not entirely sure. Um, God, man, that looks awkward the way it's kind of filtered in there. But 1, 2. How many have I got at the moment? So 6, 6, 12, 14, 15. So I need to put 2 more mana in. And they have like 1 free source for Zareth, which is better. I feel like Zareth is overall better than Zagras, but then Zagras is also quite good. I mean, its Planeswalker ability is essentially turned off, although, of course, having said that, we'll run to a Planeswalker. So you basically get a Flying Death Touch Haste, Death Touch on your other guys. It's pretty nice. A lot of our other guys have Death Touch, which diminishes that. So Flying Death Touch Haste, whereas this is card advantage, and I think this is more what the deck needs. So we'll cut Zagras and just make our life easier. I think we'll keep Zareth, and then that means we get to add 1 of each of these colours here. We've got a spare green actually in the deck in the form of Fast Root Fortification, should we so choose to keep it. We've got quite a few ways to boost up Ghastly Gloomhunter as well, so I think this card is actually okay here. What I'm wondering about, do I want Gnarled Colony? I guess it's kind of fine. It could get cut. Because I don't think I want it. Mind you, having another 2-drop I can play when I've got 2 Scale the Heights is actively good. Yeah, I think the Mana Skidder Steak can go. I don't think a lot of that card, and I'm not going to be building a lot, so that seems to be fine to not have that in the build. And then it's got a lot closer, to be honest, to what it needs to be. So this kind of counts as a source rule when we've got like rogue, so playable from base camp. Um, the muck thingy isn't. So I suppose, if we not added we need to add 2 more lands. So we're going to have to cut at least 2 more cards. Okay. Yeah, it's probably some of this like super thick 5-drop slot here. So what's the deal? What's the value of 3 life is essentially the question being asked, and being a cleric. I don't think we have a lot that cares about the party. The 3 life is decent, but is just being able to get indestructible better. I think it probably is, so we can cut the Turn Timber aesthetic. I also think, like, based on, it's just trying to guess whether our deck is likely to be on the back or the front foot or struggling to hit. And I think because we've got so much Death Touch, I feel like we're likely to be able to stall out most non-flyer based decks, but then we're going to maybe struggle with other decks that we can't close out in 2 more. So we can play this as a forest, essentially, I think. And that's 7 forests, and then we can play 1 more swamp, is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 16, yeah, and 1 more swamp, and then that, I think that 41's probably fine. Now, it comes a case, yeah, I could be disciplined and cut a card, in which case it would probably be Spare Supplies. But I actually quite like Spare Supplies. I think just having, like, my deck feels like it might suffer for card advantage a bit, and Spare Supplies is just giving me that bonus card, so I actually rate it. Also, I can stop playing some of my nice looking, so I want to play 7 swamps and 6 forests. Because I've earned some of these nice looking full arts, so I really want to play them if I can. There. So, 1, 2. I want to play the Zendikar ones as well. And I've got the monster ones, but it's time to give something else a chance. And I have earned one of these as well. So yeah, that 41 feels okay, and like I say, the last card is a cantrip, which just allows me to get occasional card advantage. I have 17 lands. Oh, that comes in play tapped. So some of them are coming into play tapped, which is a little awkward for the Blight Blade, but I think still overall fairly happy. There is an argument for the second blood price, maybe over another Dread Worm. I think the Worm's just, solid. And I also don't like having too many blood prices in case the opponent's aggro. So here's the deck. I'm going to get straight into some gameplay for it. Okay, so I got all my colours. I'm going first. I'm going to make this as a green, then get a Gnarlid Colony. Seems fine to me. I mean, I normally might query the options on these 2 cards a bit more, but because I've immediately got 2 5-drops in my hand, I know that I really want to hit 5 mana on the soonest possible turn with this build. That works too. Yeah, I think let's make this attack. So I can kill one of my opponent's guys here and boost my own guy, which is fine. And I think I want to do that, so... I mean, it's not important, but I might as well. It's kind of gained its 2 life already, but it just made him able to block, and also I think having a 3/3 will be valuable. comment exile top card. So that it will allow him to play my cards if I am to let him give me Gwentil. We play it this turn. Now you know what? I don't think there's a point there because I'm trading 3 damage for 3 damage anyway, and I'd like to just get my Dreadworms online and start punching him when he can't really punch back. What the crap is this? So, whenever a land enters the battlefield, you can choose one +1/+1 count on each creature you control. This card is freaking broken, or create a creature. Jesus fucking Christ. Holy God. Okay, that's not cool. Right, I'm definitely going to send, because I want my opponent to have less creatures to put +1/+1s on. My opponent will obviously take, and I'll play a Dreadworm. Or at least going to make it a bit harder to attack. Damn, like, this card on this early of a turn is pretty broken. The good thing is when I attack, I can likely find some indestructible, so I want to get these down and really tax my opponent's life as soon as possible. I'm guessing they might lay out a 2/2 Catsy first. Oh no, they just want to go straight to the pump phase. Am I even going to block? I was thinking probably not, but now that may be a definite no. Cool. Well, that's a no. Okay, this is just a buff. My opponent gets a forest out, which he can't play. That is good, that's good. So I do not have what I need. Do I want to trade? No, this is like a 3/4 that I'd be trading for essentially anyway. But a Dreadworm versus a 3/4. I feel like I don't want to trade. Yeah, it's like too good of an attack force once I can get a land. Does this... Why did this untap? Oh, it gained vigilance until the end of the turn. Right, I see. Fuck, okay, that's ridiculous. Oh, come on, that is gross. Yeah, that's really filthily disgusting. I'll just trade this now, though. Or at least attempt the trade. Yeah, you know I'll trade. You know this time that I will. Or will I? God, I think I have to. I mean, it will let him equip at the Tazim Raptor, but this thing is only going to get bigger, and this is the last turn I can kill it on. Okay, so he also, like, flagged the trick quite well. At least we get ahead in the race, which could be pretty meaningful. And actually getting rid of a land from the opponent feels like it's actually it's a pretty big deal. I might triple block the Greytrag Night Runner if he comes in, just because he can kill two. He can't even kill two things actually. No, he can. He can kill two things, but one of them will be a Mucklord, and I'm kind of okay with that. So he'll kill like the Gnarlid Colony and Mucklord, and then I'll get to throw a counter. And he can pump. Or I could just block. Yeah, that probably is actually better. So I block like this, throw the counter on the Gnarlid Colony and threaten an attack. Probably fine. Then he like won't. But if he holds his mana, and then I draw a land, I can still threaten. Oh, that's not what I wanted to see. Right, fine. Right, damn. Okay. Right, that's really nice. Have we got land? That's pretty big then. Yeah, wow. That's kind of big. Because now my Blight Blade and my Death Touch Ground Force can get online, and they're going to hurt my opponent. Honestly, they're really going to hurt the opponent. I can Deadly Alliance their Raptor away. This might pull through for me. Okay, so he's going to try and go wide now. That makes a deal of sense. God, I mean, this card is filthy. Jesus, okay. Wow. And I literally have to block as well. Yeah, and you can just force the attack as hard as you like. Bloody hell. So this is probably a loss for me. I don't think there's much I can do. Couple of rogues. I'm dead to the flyer. This has tap another rogue, get the Death Touch. I just don't think there's a way that I can play enough things. Gotta swing with the colony, otherwise I can't really survive. Yeah, he makes the chump. Well, this has trample, which is nice. Can we survive? No. No, we can't. Alright, well, what we learn here is that Felidar Retreat has a frickin' dumb picture on it, but is pretty unbeatable if they just play this shit on turn 4, particularly with Tazim Raptor. Haven't seen this card before. Fucking hell, it's impressive as shit. I think when I was reading it, I thought it was +1/+1 and then Vigilance until end of turn rather than +1/+1 counter. But also on everything, I thought it'd be like one dude, but putting it on every single dude, how ridiculous. Like, freaking, how are you supposed to win Unlimited? Ridiculous. Yeah, I can't do 3 things, so that's that. And all other things hit me for my whole remaining life total. I suppose the one good move my opponent did make was to realise to attack all when it was the correct move. He made the right play. Yeah, the right play in both things, actually. Because I couldn't even, like, stay on D with the 5/5, that wouldn't have helped because he could simply use his 2/2 token to kill me with his banneret, so there was no way through. Yeah, there's some pretty nuts rares in this format, which is interesting because I would say I'm into my 6th draft now, and I haven't had them. There's all those, like, the modal cards, they're absolutely nuts, like instant game-winning bombs, a lot of them, and there's 5 of those, so I haven't even seen all of them yet. But they're very strong, and I haven't had any of those. Certainly haven't had that. That card's insane. And I've certainly had some okay rares, but just nothing on the power scale of some of the things that I've seen out there. Yeah, Scale the Heights is pretty nice. Just helps us. Interesting. Oh, okay, nice. We're gonna really get some advantage here. Yeah, this is pretty savage. Yeah, that's going to be probably my best subtle strike of the format. Right there. Nothing really subtle about that. Fine. Yeah, I'm definitely going to fight this while he's got his mana on as well. Because then he can't get his card out, which seems pretty savage. Guy's got to have a removal spell, I would have thought. Okay, maybe it's coming with this. Now there's 2 dudes. What do I think? I'm thinking like, I'm not trading these guys. My 3/3 Death Touch is more valuable than that. Especially like it's real nice to be ahead on life at a point like this in the game. And that's a nice little kicky, but then he's going to take 5 on the crackback. How much do I want this gone? Not a lot. I don't really want it gone. Notice here, I'm going to actually hold the land. I think that's 100% correct because I know that he can't do anything that turn because he was tapped out. So I don't fear for my Dreadworms at all. And now I can just threaten the double Dreadworm kill. That was a sick mill there from him. Like that worked out very, very well. But so I'll be at least able to push the Dreadworm through whatever he's going to play with my land now, which is pretty important. He's roiling one as well. Okay, that's pretty good. Maybe I trade now. I don't want to get smacked around too hard, but yeah, actually no. It would still be better for me to not trade. Crack him down to 5, so a single Dreadworm hit would be good enough. Go Dreadworm. Yep, same plan as before. So he kind of bought himself a turn with his antics there. That's pretty strong. Got a whole turn of tempo and crackback without losing any cards, so that was real solid for him. Cantripped here, like real good. Not going to get around with that, and that's another nice one. So definitely, putting the punish on me now. And it is clawing back. It's clawing back quite a lot. So gonna suit up. Send in. I'm wondering now about the Blight Blade because he has to get rid of both. Yeah. Nah, I'll just send the Dreadworm while it's indestructible. Yeah, which he blocks. Wow. Oh, Jesus Christ. All the tricks. I mean, we've limited his attacking options, but damn, we might well lose here. Opponent is really pressing the air. At least he can't make any of his guys sneak, but he can hit for 6 of our 8 next turn, which is concerning. So now we play land. Are you going in? Yeah, I think so. I like that. I mean, I've given him a card, but my life total's been pretty heavily reserved there from what it could have gone down to. I get to play the Trampling Knowledge Colony, and that's a lot of pressure now for the opponent. They've been getting their absolute value from their kicker cards, though. They have had Savage kicker cards so far in the game. Official Wizard, that is a wizard. Okay, well. It's +2 every time, right? Not +3, it's +2. So it's fairly unlikely that they kill me with this turn, but this is pretty terrifying given that I really had this game under a lot of control. I guess the whole that cantrip chain has been amazing for the opponent. God. Yeah, I might all end up dead here if I'm not careful. In fact, if my opponent had a removal spell, I'll just be dead straight here. Yep, okay, and he set me up for it. Yeah, fuck. I've certainly managed to grab defeat out of the jaws of victory here. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say it's me. My opponent's deck has just fired on all cylinders and produced cantrip after cantrip after cantrip after this Amora Mystic, which my deck's got some removal spells but not tons, and I just have been unable to stop this thorn in my side from going the whole way. There was a turn I could have cast Blood Price, maybe I should have, but I felt like losing life at that point. And yeah, to be honest, I've been hit by another bunch of cantrips, another flurry. My opponent can just block or not, like it doesn't really matter what they choose to do here. They've recognised that correctly. They've kept their one board piece that matters, and that's that. Right, so, wow. Well, this is gonna prove like a very quick video sequence, potentially. Okay, 5. Let's go in again and see if we can get a win. I don't think we've got one yet. That was looking real positive till it wasn't. Jeez. So, going first, this hand looks fine. Thought that about the last few hands as well, but I mean, it's got place. Man, I really thought after I got the best Subtle Strike that I've ever seen, I'd be on to a winning game. Felt like it should have ended like right there, pretty much. I suppose I was always one turn off the tempo, but what a savage defeat. It's hard to come back from. Yeah, like, Subtle Strike killing their 3-1 and pumping your guy seems like it really should do the business. Okay, that collided strong. Let's send. Again, I might as well let Subtle Strike do the work here. If not, I will vanquish the weak. Could have done with you last time, buddy. Vanquish the weak. You would have been savage. Yeah, that's the first of that card that I've seen anyone actually play. I'm going to do this pre-combat since it's pretty clear that I want to do this anyway. Could be getting negated here. I mean, my opponent skipped the turn, which is kind of weird. Could be getting into the Roiled. Okay. Oh, and that does counter that whole spell. That's pretty disgusting. Do not draw a card. Do not pass go. Fucking savage. Not living it. Let's get in. Hopefully my opponent's a bit silly. Or just thinks that I don't have it. That wouldn't be totally idiotic. It would probably be at least moderately sensible to get this down. Yeah, it looks like we're on to a triple loss here. Wow, wow, wow. After that, it's the Royal, miss land drops. Just, jeez. This was like counterspell, draw a card instead, so he turned it into dismiss, essentially. Um, no, it was dismiss plus. It was freaking cryptic command with the modes, wasn't it? Because he actually undid my board state, so it's better than dismiss. That's freaking awful for me. I feel trolled. We're ahead in the race for now. It's got to be worth something, right? Okay, so my opponent didn't have stuff to do for 4 mana. It's kind of a mix of interesting and terrifying, because then it must mean they've only got super expensive spells in their hand, maybe, or just they've got 5 drops. But again, pretty worrying for me since I don't have any Dreadworms to push through. This game's going to be sketchy. So I think it's going to be pretty close, whatever happens. If I draw the land this turn, that's probably my best draw. It's still going to be very tight because my opponent hits me dead in 2. And that's probably it, in all honesty. I need to draw Deadly Jobet right now and kill the Falconer. Yeah, and this is like a classic, the reversal of how my 7-0 in the last draft worked, whereas the Flyers can just really turn things around. I've had that shown in every single game of these 3, where I was kind of looking good, had some stuff going on, thought I could come in and just get it done, and then Flyers have been nuts. Also, All Mage's Domination is an exceptionally good card. But he just wants into the Royal to ensure he doesn't die, which kind of makes sense. In a holy god, this is awful sort of way. Yeah, there's no way I can win, so wow. What a series. Draft 6. Just like that. Into absolute 0. Hmm. I'm just gonna revisit this. I like to when I get a result like that, I like to just look and see what went wrong. I mean, I think that I know I don't hate this deck. I don't love it either. I'm thinking back to the draft where we had to kind of early pick into this rogue theme. One thing that's really stood out to me is this card for not having reach, which it could have, but it doesn't have reach. It just feels actually pretty weak. This feels like a pretty terrible card unless you actually blend and mill them. In no point in my games felt good. It could have turned this on. One thing this shows is my deck probably had about as many rogues as you can have as well. So it had like a lot of rogues. 2, 3, 4. Where were you, Ghastly Gloomhunter, and all of that? 5. Okay, maybe not quite so many. 6. So I had like a number of rogues anyway, but I just failed to reliably turn on Expedition Skulkers. So I feel like they're not that reliable. They're not reliably going to have Death Touch, and that's a big issue when you're trying to use them in combat to have it, because unlike some of the other turn-on abilities with these, you're absolutely relying on Death Touch to give this its use in combat. I mean, that said, versus the other abilities, this is probably more clutch, but I think that you can't really consider this a 2-2 Death Touch for 2 in any meaningful way. It's very much not, and it can be turned into not having it in a lot of points where you're trying to use it and you're just going to lose it as a piece of card advantage. I mean, Zareth never showed up. That kind of dream was never lived, and Scale the Heights wasn't particularly relevant. So all in all, I don't know if I could have drafted a lot different or played too much different, but I certainly wouldn't highly recommend going towards a deck that looks like this. It just doesn't have enough going on, and I guess it's a lesson for the future. So thanks for watching. Oh, we have a prize to claim. There is one pack. So again, I still don't know what I'm looking for in this format, but let's see if we find it, whatever it is. Okay, I think I'm pretty happy getting any of the lands here. The flippy lands, they're quite good. Just more jewels that could be nice opportunities. The fact you do have to pick one or the other, I think, is a difficulty for them, especially for decks with multiple casting costs. But there are fairly multiple mana symbols, should I say, in casting costs, but they're fairly good. So thanks for watching.